The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Diego Castro. President Bongbong Marcos still isn't keen on outrightly banning pogos in the country. Speaking to reporters in Davos, President Marcos said that it would be better to examine first the social cost of pogos as well as its contribution to the state's revenue. He did say, though, that he is open to discussing regulations with China, which has been pushing for a crackdown on pogos. Offshore gaming operations in the Philippines have been linked to a series of illegal activities, including money laundering, tax evasion, kidnapping, and prostitution.
What would be the point? It's not a huge part of our economy, and if it's adjudged that there is a social cost, it might not be worth it. All of these things we should be continuously examining to see if it still continues to be a good idea for the Philippines.
President Bongbong Marcos defends his decision to replace Clarita Carlos as National Security Advisor, saying the professor may have found the position, quote, a bit political. Marcos says Carlos may have not been used to the position, being that she comes from the academe. However, the chief executive believes Professor Carlos still may aid the administration by lending a hand in research. When asked why former Interior Chief Eduardo Año was chosen to replace Carlos, the president cited Año's experience and connections.
He has a long experience in intelligence. Before he became Chief of Staff, before he became commander, he was ISAF. So sanay na sanay yan, and he's well known, and he knows all of the operatives in the intelligence community.
President Bongbong Marcos says leaders who attended the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, tagged the Philippines as part of the so-called VIP Club, a list of Southeast Asian countries with the best performing economies. The president also touts investment commitments from his Switzerland trip. Here's the report.
President Bongbong Marcos is back in the country after participating at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. During his arrival speech, the president said he consulted with other economic leaders on the controversial Maharlika Wealth Fund.
I took the opportunity as well to consult with our friends and partners in Davos on the Sovereign Wealth Fund as a means for us to diversify our income sources to generate various welfare effects to the Filipino people, while recognizing that this is a collaborative work with experts and our lawmakers so that its final form is what we intend to be.
Marcos Jr. also met with other world leaders, like former UK Prime Minister Tony Blair, and various envoys from the World Trade Organization and World Bank. He also touted his business meetings with potential investors like DP World, Glencore, and Morgan Stanley.
The business meetings held promise of new investments in many of our economic sectors, including mining, processing, digital solutions, logistics, telecommunications, renewable fuel, amongst others, and will enable our companies to participate deeper in global value chains.
Meanwhile, some members of the economic team remained in Switzerland to attend follow-up meetings with various economic and political leaders.
You will notice, of course, that Secretary Ben Jokno and Secretary Arce Balisacan are not with us, as they had remained to for follow-up meetings that were not scheduled but had become scheduled after we had met with the different economic leaders and political leaders in Davos.
Before leaving, Marcos Jr. also visited the Filipino community in Switzerland, who welcomed him with a serenade. For News 5, Paul Samarita, we are One News.
Meanwhile, the president says he is not yet inclined to appoint a permanent agriculture chief. Marcos Jr. noted that he's still looking for the right person to lead the department. He also stressed that he wants to appoint someone who is knowledgeable about agriculture and not a retired military official, given the complexity of the post. Several groups have been calling for the appointment of a permanent secretary in the agency amid issues in inflation and food supply.
Hindi kailangan eksperto sa agrikultura. Agriculture is a very complicated subject. I don't really think that it is the right place for a military man to go. Because unless they're involved in agriculture, pag nagawa na namin yung mga yung bucket list namin, natapos na namin, alis na ako. Then I will give it to somebody else.
We will be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Diego Castro. The Commission on Elections has so far logged over 1 million voter registrations, months ahead of the barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan elections. Camille Samonte with the report.
Even on a weekend, voter registrants lined up at the Comelec office in Bongao, Tawi-Tawi. Most of them are young people who will register and vote for the first time. Jonathan took the chance to register while he is still not busy with schoolworks.
Kung gusto nila magparesto, pwede din po kasi para makatulong sa kap.
In Tawi-Tawi, there are at least 300,000 registered voters, and the Comelec is hoping this will increase before the registration ends on January 31. Comelec Chairman George Garcia himself visited their office in Bongao to inspect the registration there. Garcia also met with other commissioners and election officers to find out what support they need from the national office.
Upang makita rin yung kalagayan ng ating mga kababayan habang sila nagpaparehistro o habang sila ay pumupunta sa opisina ng COMELEC upang kami naman diyan sa main office ay mapag-desisyon na namin kung ano ang tamang magagawa upang mas maiangat natin ang antas ng serbisyo publiko.
Garcia is hoping that with his visit, more people will be encouraged to exercise their right to vote in the coming barangay and SK elections. He's also reassured the public that Tawi-Tawi is safe and secured, contrary to news being circulated on social media. COMELEC is confident that the barangay and SK elections will finally push through on October after it was postponed 4 times. As of January 14, COMELEC has recorded over 1 million registered voters for the barangay and SK elections, with some 4,000 voters through the Register Anywhere program. For News 5, Camille Samonte, We Are One News.
Heads up, motorists. Oil companies are projected to implement a big-time fuel price hike this week. According to a forecast by UniOil, prices of diesel may climb up by 2.5 pesos per liter tomorrow, January 24. Gasoline, on the other hand, would see a price hike of a little over 3 pesos per liter. If realized, this would be the second consecutive week of fuel price hikes. After almost 3 years of subdued celebrations due to the COVID-19 pandemic, thousands of people welcomed the Chinese New Year with a bang in Manila. Josh Camo with the report.
Excited residents flocked to the Jones Bridge in Manila to watch the fireworks display to welcome the Year of the Water Rabbit.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1! Happy New Year!
When the clock struck 12, fireworks lit up the night sky. The fireworks display ran for about 10 minutes. Angel said she and her family went to the bridge as early as 12 noon to ensure they have the best view as they celebrate the Lunar New Year in public for the first time after 2 years.
Masaya po kasi 2 years kang nasa loob lang ng bahay tapos ngayon nagdidiwang lahat, nagsasama-sama lahat.
Meanwhile, these barangay officials took a moment to enjoy the celebration. Their mantra for this year,
Sipag at tiyaga pa rin ang swerte!
some foreigners also took part in ringing in the new year.
It was amazing. I really like it. For me, it was kind of surprising. I wasn't expecting that, but it was nice.
It's absolutely more fun in the Philippines to spend the time here and have Happy New Year.
Nearly 10,000 people spent their Chinese New Year sa Lubong at the Jones Bridge. Meanwhile, colorful Chinese lanterns lit up the streets of Ongpin. Anime, a Lucky Charm vendor, hoped to earn more due to the return of the celebrations.
Mas marami po ngayon. Kasi ilang taon na rin pong walang ganap na Chinese New Year, ilang taon na rin po. Kaya mas marami pong tao talaga ngayon. Ito naman po ang piyaw, yan po ang trending ngayon. Money magnet po siya.
After halting for 2 years due to the pandemic, the Manila LGU has restarted Chinese New Year celebrations. During her speech, Manila Mayor Hani Lacunapangan commended the contribution of the Filipino-Chinese community in strengthening the city.
In this momentous event, we reflect the diversity and strength of the Filipino-Chinese community and its contribution to the very fabric of this magnificent city.
Chinese Ambassador to the Philippines Wang Shilian also recalled the partnership of China and Philippines, particularly the city of Manila, at the height of the pandemic.
Our friendship has deepened when our actions defined our true partnership. Those were 3 years when China-Philippines relations have built on the past and laid solid foundations for the future.
He is hoping that the partnership with China would become more stronger this year of the Water Rabbit. For News 5, Josh Camo, We Are One News.
And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us again at 9:45 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register an account now at signalplay.com.ph so you can stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I am Diego Castro. We are One News, all sides, all the time.